Welcome back to Light Talk, where the paranormal and the supernatural is a part of our everyday lives. I have a special guest with you guys tonight. I hope you enjoy her. She is going to be a fantastic. She's got some really cool stuff to show us. So pay attention and learn what she's doing. No, it's really cool stuff. I hope you enjoy it. So, welcome to the show and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Brownell Landrum. I've been on Dana's show, I think it was 2 years ago almost. And at that time I was talking about my novels that I released in 2024 that were called We Meet Again, and this epic reincarnation mystery and love story. And I know we went down that path and talked about that area of the supernatural, paranormal, woo-woo, whatever you want to call it. And now I have a whole different kind of personality and hat I wear. I can do like a shameless plug, and this is my new book, The Art and Science of Wishing. And so that's where we're going to probably delve into, this world that we all take for granted, and we kind of say the word wish, and we make wishes all the time without even thinking about it. And there's just so much more cool science stuff in it. And I think that's one of the things that you and I like to talk about, Dana, is, where does the science stuff and the paranormal stuff, and where do they come together? And sometimes I just think science hasn't explained some things that we know, that are, in the realms of what I call cosmic collaboration. So anyway, wherever you want to take it, I'm here to go off any kind of tangent you want.
First of all, let's go ahead and get a gist of what you're doing with these cool cards that you've made. Um, so if you can kind of explain that process of how it happens, and we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, well, it's as some of the people listening, we don't, we never know what episodes are going to come when, but I was able to have Dana on my show where we took her through my process. I call the cosmic wishing. My show is called Cosmic Wishes, and we took her through my cosmic wishing process. And basically, what we do on the show is we have a group of, and literally I have hundreds of what I call science cards. And so we draw a science card and with her wish, and then we have activity cards, and then we do an activity with her wish. So that's kind of the framework of the show. And then I think tonight we're going to talk about more about just the whole idea of wishes and wishing, right? Instead of going through anybody's particular wish. So anyway, that's
Right.
wherever you want to go.
Yeah, it was really fantastic to kind of see how that goes because she draws this card and it gives the science around it. So it's like, okay, so for example, I wish for more money, right? Just throwing out. So if I wish for more money, it gives you the science of that wish brings that more money together. It brings it into like a focus of what science is needed in order to make that wish happen.
Yes, and it starts with the framework, just so everybody can get a little bit of a background of where all this came from. I was writing another novel that I came out with last fall, so almost a year ago, 9 months ago, and it's called A Love Story to the Universe. And I was writing that book, and it's this magical realism about a place I call upstairs, where wishes are sorted and granted, and it's kind of this fun, magical world. And then one night I couldn't sleep. And so I listened to a science lecture on neuroplasticity. And instead of putting me to sleep, it woke me up. And I was like, wait a minute, there's science in wishing. And so I started doing this huge exploration of the sciences of wishing. And, just was blown away that every time you make a wish, you engage over a dozen different sciences. And so that led me to researching my book, which has over 70 different scientists, and I get into all these elements of the science of wishing, everything from anthropology, sociology, psychology, quantum physics, all these different areas of science. And the things that we might have called, or I might have called woo-woo, or metaphysical or something like that, I found the scientific explanation for some of that stuff. So that's what led me to create those cards. Is I thought, well, this is a fun way to teach the science and apply the science to people's wishes. So to use your example, when somebody wishes for more money, one of the things I have to set up the framework for was what's the difference between a wish, a prayer, and a goal. So I don't know, did we talk about that, Dana?
A little bit. A
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
So basically, a goal is something in your control. So if your wish is for more money and it's something in your control, then you can go out and start a job or a side gig or ask for a raise or whatever that is, and you can have a plan. And then a prayer is usually for the things outside of your control. So you pray to whatever that energy is, however you want to define that. But the wishes allow for both, allow for kind of this goals focus, but also this idea of what I call cosmic collaboration, when you know that there are other outside forces helping, and you can either define them as quantum physics or some sort of energy like that, or you can get into the metaphysical or spiritual, or however you want to define that. So that's kind of the interesting framework, is this whole thing. In fact, today, you might find this interesting. I wrote a blog article today about a dream that I had last night. And the dream, a symbol in the dream was that, when I looked up in my dream book, is that it said, unexpected good news. Look for unexpected good news. And it was so much fun, because then all of a sudden I started thinking, like, before I would see that sign and go, okay, I'm looking for signs of unexpected good news. And now I know the science behind how that can prompt you to actually look for, create, find things that you might not have noticed. So it's all fun.
It is all fun. It is all fun. Yeah, I try to interpret my dreams now, and I'm getting better with it. Getting much better with interpreting and saying, "Oh, okay, well, this isn't like someone's dying or anything. This is something about more renewing. Things are renewing. There's a new start. There's new stuff happening." So yeah, and to bring that science into it is really amazing.
Yeah, because once you get that clue, whatever you want to call it, a sign or a clue, then it triggers something in your brain called the reticular activating system, which turns your brain into this like sign seeking mechanism to look for that. And so then all of a sudden, people say it becomes self-fulfilling or whatever, but it's the idea is that, like, if you ever thought, oh, I want to buy a new car, and you're looking at a certain kind of car, and then you start seeing it everywhere. And that's that part of your brain that does that, right? But you can also look at it from this metaphysical point of view and go, okay, maybe there are guides giving me these signs to show me what path to take. And I just like the idea of both, either or both, or however people want to look at it is fine, because it all works together. I think you could look at science and say, wow, look at what the spiritual realm created and made it science that we can track, right? You can say it all the science came from the spiritual world, or you can just say everything that we call spiritual will be defined by science. It just hasn't been defined yet. So that's
It's
that's the
all
way I
in
like to look
one.
at it.
It's a whole package. It's all in one.
Yeah, and with all the cool things that you're doing and exploring, I just find it so fun to look into that. Like, I don't know, did we talk? I don't think we talked about the what I call the blue balloon phenomena.
I don't think so.
I think your fans and listeners are going to like this. I
Okay,
think it's
talk
it's
to
up
us.
it's up your alley. So, well, let's have some fun brainstorming this. So the idea is that, imagine you're driving home from work and you have this vision of a blue balloon in your driveway. And you pull in your driveway and there's a blue balloon. How did it get there?
Manifestation, um, just imagination, just having your imagination work. And um, I guess that brings it into a manifestation. Um,
Yeah.
you could be just happen to see something there. It could be like a sign. It could be a sign that somebody was there and given, or it could be um, oh, what's my wording? What's my wording? Um, you had a visual of it being there, so you knew it was going to be there. It was a knowing that it was there. Um, it could be yeah.
Yeah, no, you're doing great. That's why I didn't want to interrupt because I love this idea. Like, and when I wrote my book, I wrote about it and I said, there's three possible explanations. And then since I wrote the book, I've come up with maybe a dozen. So I always love to hear because there could be other things that I haven't thought of. But yeah, one of them is you manifested it, you visualized it, and then poof, you manifested it, right? So that's the first kind of obvious one. But the other kind of was what you were kind of getting to is that maybe you just got kind of a precognition of it. Like you were given a sign that it was going to be there, or, you got to see it before it was there. So you have some sort of connection of precognition. Another one could be, and you were sort of saying this, is that it's a symbol for you to notice. Like it's not about a blue balloon at all. It's about the fact that the color blue and the symbolism of a balloon is supposed to give you some sort of message or guidance for
Yeah.
you to take, right? It could be what they call predictive processing, I think is the scientific term, where they're actually doing some really interesting research that people actually can see a few seconds ahead of into the future, basically, and they can get a glimpse into the future. So I find that science, like some of that's fringe science and some of that is stuff that they're still studying. But there could be that. There could be the idea of that your subconscious sees, millions of impressions per bits. I think it's bits of information or bits of impressions or something per second, whereas your conscious mind only sees like 50. So maybe it was already there, but your conscious mind didn't register it, right? But your subconscious saw it. And so this is a
Yeah.
communication between you and your subconscious going, oh yeah, I saw this thing this morning. You didn't register, but I'm going to remind you that it's there. It could be a glitch in the matrix,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It could be like you got a glimpse of a parallel world and you just shifted over to the one that has a blue balloon in it. And that was your message of, okay, well, it was always there in the other parallel world, but not this one.
Yeah.
So,
And what
there's all
about a,
kinds of,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm listening.
No, it's oh, I just kind of, it's like a deja vu kind of thing, like what you were saying, you're seeing a few seconds ahead of time. Um, so is that what you would consider like a deja vu?
Well, it's kind of the reverse of it in a way, because the deja vu is, I think, supposed to be something from the past that's coming back, right? But then which is the past and which is like, are you time traveling? Because it could be going either direction, right?
Right.
So, yeah, and it could be some message from, the spiritual realm saying, I'm here, maybe you and your father used to love to go release balloons and make wishes or something. And it's a message, I'm here for you. So the thing that I thought you would think is so much fun about that is that all the stuff that you are exploring and all of your guests and all of this world that you're into, when people say, well, I don't know about that, or I don't know about that, it's like, well, look at how many explanations there could be, right? That it could explain things. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean somebody else can, or vice versa. And so anyway, I just thought you'd find that fun.
Oh, I think it is fun. It just makes you think more. And I like that because sometimes I don't see that full picture. So it's great. I love that it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's like all these like I knew that, but it was in the back of my mind, not as far forward as it should or could be. So it's great. I want to work my brain a little more in that sense to bring all this together. So that's awesome. I love it. I do.
I thought you would, and it's also just so much fun because it's like when you're looking at wishing and you're making a wish, right? If you know about like all these possibilities, you can go, okay, maybe I like me in my dream last night and gave me the message of unexpected good news. And my dreams have been pretty prophetic. When I've gotten a message, that thing came through. And so it was really interesting to get that dream. And then now that I know about the science of wishing, I also know that if it's telling me that look for unexpected good news, guess what? I'm going to look for unexpected good news, right? And I'm going to start
Right.
finding things. I'm like, well, that was good news that I didn't expect. And that was good news I didn't expect, right?
Right. Right. And it doesn't have to be anything huge. It could be just a little thing, or it could be a huge thing. You could like win the lotto today, or you could just get a nice friendly smile from somebody, and either way
That's
it's
right.
good news. Yeah.
And that's what was so fun for me. And that's what I'm hoping that you and anybody listening to this is like, imagine you got that symbol in your dream, or maybe this is your symbol right here, right now. Your symbol is unexpected good news is coming. Um, what I was doing this morning when I woke up, I thought, okay, now I've got, let me use all the things I've learned about science of wishing, because before I would have thought, okay, unexpected good news, I'll look for it and left it kind of out there in the ethers. And now I'm like, okay, what are the areas that could be unexpected good news? And what could I possibly get? Like, what are my big wishes? One thing that I want you and your fans to hopefully support me, and I know you will. I've got a TEDx talk coming out soon. And so I want people to watch my TEDx talk because that's a big deal for those of us who try to go for that kind of thing. And getting views is like this huge big deal. And so my wish this morning, I thought, well, what would be a surprise with that? Well, one surprise would be, and what happens in that world is if you have a really good talk, like the TED headquarters people love it, then they elevate you to like one of their premier people, one of their featured talks. And I thought that would be unexpected good news to hear that message,
Yes. That would
and
be.
how much I smiled and started thinking about what are all the possibilities that could be unexpected good news. And I also was triggering these parts of my brain that are looking for that, and also maybe communicating with the team upstairs. Hey, these are some things that I would really like to see that maybe I haven't articulated before.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So have you had anything happen yet today?
I haven't had anything that was like, whoa, out of left field. I've had a very productive and supportive day. Yesterday, if I wanted to be retro, they call it retro causality in physics. Like you can look back and go, oh, that's this thing. Um, they that I had something happen yesterday morning when I woke up with an idea that was in the part of the brain called the default and mode network. I don't know if we talked about that, but that's the part of your brain that when your brain turns off, your conscious brain turns off, that's when these ideas come to you, like when you're in the shower or when you're taking a walk or these kind of creative parts. And it's a certain part of your brain that turns off on when other parts turn off. And I woke up with this idea of this really fun idea, and I spent the whole day working on it. And I wanted to share it with you. So you're the first who's heard about it. Is I'm calling it the whimsical wish. And you know how I have my card deck with the
Huh?
sciences and the activities. I've got a new card deck that is whimsical wishes that you can just draw, and it's going to tell you what your whimsical wish is.
Ooh.
It's a way to kind of get so one of the whimsical wishes, for example, is that I wish everyone driving their car, their horns would be a certain song so that I know who they are. Or I wish I could have one day of learning, taking classes at Hogwarts,
There
things
you
like,
go.
and they make you smile and laugh. And then some of them are really sweet. Like, I wish that my like all the teachers could have a fan club of all their students that who they really touched and impacted their lives. Things like that that are really powerful and sweet. So there's a mix of all kinds of whimsical wishes.
I like that one. I'm still in touch with my second grade teacher.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that awesome?
That's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, it's been a while since we talked though, but yeah, she is the one that got me to want to be a teacher at first. Yeah. So since second grade, I always want to be a grade school teacher because of her. Yeah.
Yeah. So isn't that a fun wish, like to wish for? So I had so much fun creating. So I got a whole new deck of cards somewhere in my future. And I even
I
started a
love it.
page that on my website that you can, I literally just uploaded the code for it today. That is, you can go on it and you can click the card, the whimsical wish card, and it'll give you your whimsical wish of the day. So you
Oh,
can click on it. Yeah.
I'll have to get in there and look at it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'm working on some cards myself, some oracle cards.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to be getting those out within the next couple months because with everything going on, so I'd like to get those out here pretty soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah,
yeah.
those
So
kind of things because if they do something to help prompt us and give us some way to open up that part of our brain into some possibility that we may not have been able to access before.
mhm,
Just to say,
right,
oh, well, I hadn't thought about this. This makes me look at it this way, or gives me some guidance wherever that guidance might come from.
right, right. Yeah, that's really cool. I love this. I love it. And it just helps you. And then you have the activities to go with these. Your
Right.
activities.
So I
Yeah,
got
so
my
you get
activity cards and the science cards. Yeah, so they're all different kinds of things. And one thing I don't know that I told you that now that people can go is on the website on your episode, which hasn't aired yet, but it will by the time this probably airs, is that I have what I call a play sheet. Instead of a worksheet, I have a play sheet. And that it has a picture of the cards that we drew and then some prompts for the people listening to kind of play along and apply that wish and that activity to their own wishes.
sweet. That's
Isn't
a
that fun?
very fun interactive program. That's really cool.
Yeah. Well,
That's
the big
awesome.
picture here is that I really do think can be powerful stuff. I mean, the whole principles of cosmic wishing, not just the learning the science, which is hugely powerful, and getting more of your wishes under your control by learning the science, which is another ratchet of power, is also what I call the 3 Ps, the principles of cosmic wishing, which means your wishes should be peaceful, positive, and purposeful. And there's science behind all of that. And Dana, that's what I love about this is that if we could get people to be seeing this and believing in their wishes and elevate their energy to peaceful, positive, and purposeful and know how to direct themselves to that kind of energy, I mean, it can be really beautiful and powerful. So the more I can support people in that exploration, the better.
Yeah. And it's going to be awesome. You really have something going. And I'm very, very excited for you in this journey of yours because it's very it it brings the science into this supernatural metaphysical world. And many people are looking at it like, oh, well, there's no science behind it. So it's woo woo, right? You know?
That's right.
So bringing all of this together is making it more, per se, realistic in a lot of minds. And it gives it more purpose
Yes.
people to be able to wish and to bring these things into reality and to manifest them because there is logic and there's science behind it.
That's right. And one of the things that I love about it so much is that you could be super religious and still jive with it, right? You can be more into the woo-woo or metaphysical, still aligned with it. And you can be neither of those and on the other end of the spectrum and just be curious about the science and still be into it. And all of that can play together. And so if we can unite with this kind of vision, with this kind of energy and knowledge and support, I just think that would be really powerful to do.
I think so too. I think it's really awesome. And, because you don't see all of this playing as one in the general world. You don't.
Right.
The scientists out there are not bringing in the metaphysical and saying, yes, this is possible. This is something that could happen, and all of this. You're bringing everything in together. You're going to be like this Nobel Prize winner thing because this is like so cool. You're the
I'm not
first
sure that was
one
on my list of unexpected good news is to win a
because this
Nobel.
is like something that nobody else has brought together.
I really, and I
You
really, we
know,
were talking right before we recorded, but the idea of bringing this to kids and teaching kids to make cosmic wishes and bringing it into schools and making science interesting and compelling and having, people, I mean, whether it's psychology, which is obviously, so universal, or sociology or anthropology or biology or neuroscience, plasticity, all of these kinds of cognitive science. I mean, these cards, as you remember, they each have sciences at the top. And so like this one has psychology, neuroscience, and cognitive science. This one is neuroscience, biology, and psychology. So they all have, this one is cognitive psychology and storytelling, which is a basic, science. So it's got all these different, this one gets into quantum physics. So, just getting that curiosity about the science, hopefully will bring us together. Yeah.
yeah, and that's something to do is just go in and talk to some like elementary school teachers and just see if you can bring it in when they're doing like their math class because there's math in there.
There's math
you
in
know
there.
there's
Yes.
math in there, there's science, there's math. So you could talk to their math class or science class when they're having that, go in and do a little speech with that, and then you go into your junior high or middle school and you could talk with like that science program, and
Yeah.
then your math or whatever in high school, and then you can even go to the colleges and speak in the my lights just flashed.
Uh,
um
oh, we're getting a sign.
yeah, there's our sign, our storm. No, this is great. This is great that it's you can go to any grade level and you can put it into some sort, and colleges you can go into how many different areas in college and just throw this into one day of class. It will get them thinking, just give them one day. I could just see you going all over the place. I'm just,
I am all over the place. No, just I know I'm all over the place. A good
it's
metaphor.
just like,
Well,
right,
I do,
it's
the
exploding
idea
me.
of the schools, even if it's just like, how Dolly Parton sends books to schools, like that's her big thing is books. And I thought, just to have these cards, a deck of these cards, even if you're just a substitute teacher and you need to fill, or if you're any teacher and you need to fill 15 minutes of a class, let's draw a card and let's talk about that. And that's learning the science part. And I was talking to somebody that's doing a program in schools, and she's like, yeah, the woo-woo stuff they may not bring into school. I was like, doesn't matter. I still have 137 other cards that are more, straight science, if you will. But the idea of like bringing that into schools and just giving them something to work with, because it's teaching the science, obviously, and it's also empowering the students to look at their wishes and make their wishes more powerful and understand this need to make them positive. I think that I have a children's book, right? that I
Mhm.
call cosmic wishes. And, what I do in the book is I show kids basically how when you add science to your wishes, you make them more powerful. So that's what the book is all about. So there's just this big opportunity, I think.
Yeah, well, you could take your book. See, I'm seeing you already. I see you sitting in front in a library. Like you can do it in middle school, all the those high school, grade school. Just go into the library, and when the classes come into the library, you have that your book there, and you have your cards there. So you read your book for the wishes, and then you can kind of help them understand the wishes with the cards.
Yeah, and hopefully I can train other people to do that, right? So that it's
Uh-huh.
not just me, that it's multiplied,
Yeah,
anywhere, maybe even in the world.
yeah. Then
That's the thing that's really cool about wishes and wishing too, is everybody does it all over the world since the beginning of
Mhm.
time. I mean, I have a chapter in my book about the 50 different rituals around the world that different countries use for wishing. And those are really fun. Like in Brazil, they have a New Year's Eve, a New Year's Day festival or a ritual where they call it the jumping of seven waves, and they go out to the beach and they jump and they make a wish every time they jump away.
Oh,
And so isn't that cute?
that
So
is
there's
cute.
so many cool things about the whole concept of wishing everywhere. It's something we all have in common.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's so cool. I love it. I love this.
And I
So,
love that
so.
you love it.
I do. I think it's like I say, I just think I see like this Nobel Prize. Here's Brownell, prize
Oh,
winner. And I knew her prior. You know, it's just I'm so blown of how much information you have come across that these scientists haven't done. You've
well, the
talked
thing
to the
about
scientists, but you brought it all together.
Well, that's the thing I, want your listeners to understand. And I know you know this about me, and I kind of started it is I'm a storyteller, not a scientist, right? And I think in a way that's a very good strength, because if I was a scientist, I would be interested in a specific science. I would have studied a specific science. And but this way, I'm going to look at it all. Like I'm covering all these different bases and looking at all these different kinds of, okay, well, what about this study and this study? I mean, in my book, the paperback, I couldn't add it to the paperback because it would have taken so many, like, I don't know how many pages, because I have 400 research articles that it links to. So if you get the paperback, you can go to a link on the website, and if you want to look at all the research studies, you can look at them all. And if there's anybody listening, and I really want to make sure this is clear, like I'm an explorer, I'm still learning and still exploring. And so if there's anybody who's like, oh, I've got more information about that, or oh no, what she just said is total crap, I still want to hear. I want to hear what people think, because especially skeptics, like, okay, you don't think it works, then let's go test it. Let's see what works and see what doesn't work. Because that's the way we can all bring together is, in fact, one of the whimsical wishes I had, wish cards I made today was like, I wish my skeptic self and my dreamer self would like have a powwow and learn how to get along, you know.
Right, right. Because it takes all areas to make it all happen. You can't have just one. It's like a village raising a child. It's not just one person to raise a child. You really do. I never thought that was true until I had one. And then it's like, you look back, it's like, yeah, there's a huge village that needs to raise. So you just need a huge village to bring all of this together to make it more powerful. To, oh, I love this.
It
love
makes me feel
this.
so good. It's so funny too, when it was coming to me, it was like I felt like everything I've ever done in my life was leading to this. Even my metaphysical novels, my first book was about 5 reasons why bad things happen. That set a foundation for a lot of this. And all of these things that I've learned, all these experiences I've had, all the bad things that have happened, to me that took me on a lesson and a path. I feel like they all kind of led me here and just opened up this door. And I'm just fun. I feel like in fact, on my blog, I have a picture of this explorer, me as this explorer. And it's like, and one side of the picture is, the mountains and the science and all that stuff. And the other side is all these woo-woo symbols, and it's like, I'm going both, either way you want to go. And that I am an explorer, and that that's what I want to do, is I want to keep exploring. And then bring people on who also want to explore and
Yeah,
just, and it's fun. I
it
mean,
is.
we need fun.
Yeah, it is. And I'm that explorer right now. I've gone through as far as I can go with the knowledge I have. Now I'm working on getting my hands wet and dirty and all this other stuff of getting out into the paranormal world, getting out into the cryptid world, going out into like elementals, I I'm going that direction. And the cool thing about it goes along with what you're saying here. The cool thing about it is your path leads you there. And I've been on some other paths that like, yeah, this is really cool. Let's go do this. And then it just kind of like fizzles. And it's like, oh, okay. So that's not quite my path. But that brought on, like you're saying, a lesson that's going to keep me on my path.
That's right. And you
So
never know when you can look back and go, oh, well, that, of course, that had to happen for this to happen for me to get to this to happen. And that's the book that was the inspiration that started this whole thing for me as far as wishes is called A Love Story to the Universe. And it's semi-autobiographical. And it was talk about a paranormal type of experience, because I started writing this story and I thought, I'm going to write it from the point of view of the upstairs. And I'm thinking, okay, if there were guides and angels or whatever you want to call them up here, and they're looking at these humans, this is from their point of view. And I'm writing this story, and then all of a sudden I realize, like, they're telling me who they are. They're real, and they're telling me who they are. And a lot of it was about, how do you get this American woman living in Colorado to meet a British man in Tunisia? Like, I call it the traffic angels, like all the logistics they had to go through. And then they look at these humans going, y'all are messing this up. Okay, this is not the way it's supposed to go. And that free will stuff keeps getting in the way. And these characters and their personalities and how they work together, and they bounce off of each other, and they have these different characteristics. And it was just, and as I was writing it, it felt like they were telling me who they were, and they were giving me signs, and they were giving me messages. And I know now, I look back at all of it and think, okay, well, first of all, if I hadn't met him, I probably wouldn't have written that story. And I don't want to spoil the relationship part, but you probably will figure out that it was a really good lesson to go, again, this happened so that this could happen, so that this could happen. And none of this would be where I am now. I mean, all these little pieces that came together, none of that would have happened if that hadn't happened. So even if they didn't get what they wanted as far as the humans on Earth, it didn't matter, because it led to where it's supposed to be.
exactly. Exactly. And some of the things that I do my prayers, I guess you would say, I ask for bumpers.
That's cute.
Always I ask for bumpers. Keep me inside so I don't go straying off too far, because I'm getting younger and I want to get further along than, so keep the bumpers.
I love the bumpers analogy. Mine is that they're like border collies that are like whack you in the side to keep you back in line. They're like, you're going to, oh no, 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 you're going the wrong way. We got to get you back. So that's the way I look at it. Sometimes I just wish they just, okay, whack me to get me to go the right direction. So in fact,
Too far.
I hope that there are people listening that go, oh, tell us your stories too. We want to know, like, do you feel like this? Do you think we're crazy, or do you think like you're totally, you've got other stories that are even more fun than that? Because
Yeah.
I do think the way I look at all of this, Dana, is that even if none of it's true, does it matter if it makes you happier and you live a better life? Right? So why not explore? Why not open up possibilities? And if you're a skeptic, yeah, there's a difference between a cynic and a skeptic, right? Cynics, there's no workplace for them in the world. They just want to put down everything. That's not going to help anybody. Skeptics are like, okay, you don't have me yet. I'm not sold. Then you can bring them in and say, then help me prove it. Help me. I'm telling you these things and I'm telling you the studies that have shown things. I want more proof. Bring it on. Like help put the rigor to it and help test these theories. So I think it's all good. I'm so interested in that. And I think that for me, as as a storyteller, as the person delivering these messages, it's so freeing to be able to say, tell me what you think. Yeah, I don't pretend to be this world's expert. I'm just a few steps ahead, maybe because I did the research. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But it's still, a skeptic can help you get the knowledge, get the education if they work together.
That's right.
If you can work together, anything can happen.
That's right. And
Anything can happen.
let's do like a role play and imagine you've got like one person who's super religious, one
Hmm.
person who's into the metaphysical, paranormal, wherever, the woo, and then one person who's like into the skeptic, into the science. And you imagine them into a room together, and the religious person, well, that happened because God made it happen, right?
Hmm.
And the metaphysical one, well, I know that there were messages in the universe and there's some energy that we're all tapped into. I'm just making up something, but just imagine that
Yeah.
that's where they would say. And then you got the skeptic going, eh, you know, to both of those. And you say, yeah, but is there science there that explains that? And, I know Einstein, there's a bunch of my favorite scientists from history. Einstein said, God doesn't play dice. And he talked about bringing religion and science together. Max Planck, who was the founder of quantum physics, said, there can be no opposition between religion and science. And so, and there's a few others that I'm not quoting right off the top of my head, but even Carl Sagan was like, reincarnation should be studied. There's too much information that says that says it's worth studying. So and there's a really good quote, and I can't remember who it's from, but it says, whenever you meet a scientist and they say it's absolutely not true, that's not a good scientist because scientists are constantly testing theories.
Right.
Real
Right.
scientists are going to go, okay, well, this didn't prove that. And I know their theorem, is start with a null hypothesis, like something's not true. That's fine if that's where you want to start. Understanding that there is, both sides of. I know Carl Sagan had some sort of quote about this too, about you know, and I'm going to butcher it, but the concept as I remember it is, you know, somebody, I'll use reincarnation as an example, but this wasn't his reincarnation quote, but it would be like somebody believes, somebody doesn't believe. The people who don't believe don't have any more power over their belief than the people who do believe. In other
Yeah.
words, they can't disprove, and there's more proof for.
Right.
So so you kind of go, who where are we on this little, on this scale, if you will, of who's got more up on the other as far as proof. And I just like that whole idea. Like,
Right. And it kind of goes along with this book that I'm reading right now by let me get it right, Mayer and Mark Reeder. It's the high strangeness of Bigfoot. Okay. So what they're talking about in a portion of the book is how Bigfoot starts off with like ape language, like when we were cavemen. you know, we're like, oh, we're talking like that, but it takes that to move up to saying, okay, well, if we knock on a tree 3 times, that means yes, you know,
Right.
and then you move into another stage, and then you move into another stage, and look where we are now. Now we have AI doing that communication for us.
Right. Well, it's like I'm totally obsessed with Project Hail Mary. Did you see that movie or read that book?
I haven't got there yet. I did find it, but I haven't been able to watch it because it's like some weird stuff go me and computers and stuff anymore are just
Well, the reason I mention it is because it very much relates. And, spoiler alert, but I think if you've seen the previews, it's in the previews. So if it's in the previews that, I don't feel like I'm overly spoiling. And when there is contact with, an extraterrestrial, and actually both characters are extraterrestrials because they meet in space, right? So they're both out
cool.
off Earth. Um, and they're trying to communicate and how they're learning language. And it's exactly like what you're talking about. I find it
Mhm,
so fascinating. And in that alien language, they speak in chords, musical chords.
mhm,
So their words are like chords on, in music. And I found that just genius. The whole thing is ingenious. And it's also just this opening of the same kind of thing that you're talking about, whether it's Bigfoot or something, something here or some sort of magical being that some people can see and maybe others can't see it yet.
mhm.
That ability to, how do you build language and how do you bridge those language gaps? And that's one of the most beautiful parts of the film, is that whole concept of coming up with that common language and understanding each other, and a being that's not at all like us, yet they became best friends. They were able to support each other so much, and it's such a beautiful, it's just one of the most beautiful stories ever. And extremely powerful and well done. I listened to the audiobook, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. And then I saw the movie, and then I got the movie on my computer, and so I can watch it, anytime I want, the streaming one. So anyway, it's the same kind of thing, that it can open up this mindset of possibilities. And I think you and I are so alike in that if all we do is open people's minds, that's a big thing.
Mhm.
That's a very, very, very big thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could just take anything and build off of it. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always something new to learn. Always,
Yeah.
always. We're
And
never
that's
going to know everything. And that's with scientists, that's with education, that's with you name it. There's nothing that we're not going to know. Us paranormal weird people, um, we're never going to know everything because there's too much to learn. Way
right.
too
And
much
that's
for
where,
us to learn.
that's what I met somebody. One of the most profound experiences of my entire life was I met somebody, I think it was in the mid 90s. So, it's been a while. And I had some idea that I was working on something I was working on. He said, Brownell, he said, you're an explorer and you're always going to be an explorer. And there was the
Mm-hmm.
same kind of message, like, you're never going to be totally satisfied. And it just keeps coming back to me, because this is where it gets hilarious. And that, I wrote the book and put all these 70 scientists and all this stuff in it. And now I had to have a blog because I've got so many more things that didn't make the book, or that I've come up with. It's like I'm still exploring. There's still another science. And today it was about the unexpected good news. That was
Mm-hmm.
the blog article for today. I've got a list of, I don't know how many ones. I want to do one more about the blue balloon, because in the book I only have 3 answers, and now I know a whole bunch more. Maybe I'll do the blog, and then somebody will give me another, 4 or 5, and I'll do another follow up. So that's where I'm like, I'm constant. There's still more. There's still more. And one of the things I'm doing, and I don't think I mentioned this to you before, is I'm actually writing a book called The Art and Science of Wishing at Work, to bring it into companies as well.
Yeah,
So
I
that could
think
be
that
really
is really
helpful.
cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. I know there's um one company that it would work good with.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it would just be really cool. I mean, you have so many different angles you can take this to. It's, oh my goodness. I see you going so far. And then your other book is going to be called The Blue Balloon.
I'm gonna do well, I am gonna the children's book,
Blue
I'm doing
Balloon.
a series. I already have the cover for book two out of this series. That's gonna be interesting. This one is about the three P's, the peaceful, positive, and purposeful. And the other one is going to be about the three selves. So that will be that one's there. But I could do a blue balloon book. I don't know what I have no idea where that's going to go. There's just so much. There's so many possibilities, and it's so much fun. And what I want to do, as I said, is I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about this message, and I want it to be about this concept, and I want to be able to have other people come to me. Like even my work program, I want coaches and consultants that work with companies to come to me and learn how to do it so they can take it forward. So it doesn't have to just be, oh, we have to have Brownell delivering this. It can be, I'll teach other people how to deliver it.
Yeah. I think it's so cool. I think it is so cool. Um, I just see you're so busy. You're off and running.
Yeah, it's
No
like I
trip.
keep laughing at myself because I'm trying to catch up, and I do have the podcast, and I have enough episodes in the can already for a couple of months. So I'm already at least ahead of that. So I give myself that cushion. And then but I have a workbook that's about 30% finished and I have to finish it. And I have more children's books to do and I have to finish that. And I have now, yesterday I woke up and I was like, I've got to have these whimsical wish cards and I have to do those because they're so fun. So who knows what's going to be next, but I am trying to build it so that it can grow on its own and not just have to be like, okay, well, unless you get Brownell, that's not going to get there. But I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago that I found out last week got over 200,000 views.
Wow.
My episode with that. Yeah, isn't that wild?
That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. And like I say, that's part of that awesome story, the surprise, because this is such a beautiful thing that you're doing. I mean, I can't say it enough. I think this is really going to fly, is really going to start bringing scientists together with the metaphysical. It's going to take it into the medical field. It's going to take it everywhere. It's this is going to change the world. I'll just say it that way. It's
That
going
I
to
appreciate
change the
that.
world.
I appreciate that. It feels really, really good. So
Yeah.
and yeah, just what you just said. Now that is a beautiful wish for me would be to have like if think tanks or convention sounds too corporate or whatever, but just like this grouping of those kinds of people, like, okay, let's get some scientists together, some doctors together, some metaphysicians together, let's get them all together and let's talk about this thing and how can this, and I didn't mention it, but I do have the cosmic wish experiment, which is still kind of back burner, even though it's somebody could activate it right now. It is for people who want to wish together. And so you could have a wish that you put out there, and then people can join. You start a wish circle, I call it. And so you have a wish circle leader, and then you have a wish circle, and you can look at the website Cosmic Wish Experiment to see how it's done. And it's all self monitoring. In other words, there's videos on how to do it. It's an 8-week process so that you go through your wish over 8 weeks. And I just really want to see people take this and give me some results. And I would love to see universities studying it, saying, okay, how are we going to take and measure this impact? Like they do for prayer studies or, meditation groups or, intention experiment, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of things like that that could go in a lot of different directions. And I'd like to see it because I think, in the big picture, I think what we're dealing with a lot in the world today is that, in the history, it was collective wishing or what propelled us forward. That was a big driver of survival, whether it's wishing for a better crop or wishing for, some sort of protection from something. And we go back to Joan of Arc, who had a vision, or Gandhi, who had a mantra, Martin Luther King, who had a dream. What if today it's a wish backed by science? What if we could get some more leaders saying, let's wish this thing together. Instead of protesting against, which is not going to work with your brain. That's not an alignment with the brain, right? We need to move forward and face forward. And so maybe there is a Nobel Prize. No, I'm just laughing.
No, I think that I would not put it past you because of this topic. I mean, the topic is just really mind blowing because it brings together so much, and not only brings together the minds, the practice, the 3 Ps, the I mean, it's bringing people together to make this happen. It's bringing a lot of not even like-minded people. They're bringing different minded people together as one to make this happen. I mean, there's so much to this that I'm mind blown. There's just it's such a cool program you've got going. I can't say enough about it. I mean, you really got something going. You really do.
Well,
I
thank
see
you.
big things for you.
Thank you for your support. And thank you for, being on my show whenever we get that airing. And thank you for being on my group event. I want to do more of those group events because I think those are fun to get people together and be wishing together and going through the cards and just building communities all over the place. So
Yeah.
that is the goal.
Well, you keep yourself moving, and you have so much on your plate right now, but it's a beautiful plate. It's a huge platter, and it's just got so many different sorts of food on there, and you're feeding the world. You're feeding the world. It's awesome.
Wow. Thank you. It's so special.
Give you a big hug. Big hug.
Group
A
hug.
hugger. Give you a big hug. So yeah, well, thank you for being on the show. And
Again.
again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll be back again. And
Yeah.
you can tell us when you get your Nobel Prize, you're going to be back on the show and you're going to say, hey,
I'm going to play this
it.
clip. I'm going to play this clip and say, Dana predicted it. Who knew?
I knew.
Dana knew. Well,
I
it'll
knew.
be fun to see how it does play out. And again, there's a whole part of the book about how important it is to have fun and to make it fun. And to make our lives more fun and make our wishing fun. And by its nature, wishing is fun. So even when you add the science, I'm doing it in a way that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You do. And I do have the book, everyone. I actually do
Yes,
have
you
the
do.
book. Uh-huh. And it's on my stack of books to get caught up on and read. But I'm excited to get to it and to learn more about this. And I think I'm going to be taking it to my HR and seeing what they would say about having a wish for the company.
Yeah, one of the things in the company, just to give you a little bit of a preview in that, and I'm happy to do a Zoom call and talk about it because even though I don't have the book finished, I have a lot of the program. It's it looks at 10 criteria if your company's ready for change, right? So it measures that. And it's generally for companies going through some kind of change, whether it's a reorganization, a new product launch, merger, acquisition, but companies are always going through change. So,
Right.
it's not like that's a big surprise. But there's an evaluation that says measure your company. Are you ready for the change that I have? So I have this criteria, and that's how the book is organized. And there are things in there like turn your values into wishes, because a lot of companies have a values. Here's my list of values, but they're sitting there on a wall. They're not active wishes. So if you turn that into a wish, like I wish this company can embody the ideals of authenticity, then you're going to start tracking how well you did on authenticity instead of just putting it on a list or doing it on a performance evaluation. And there's 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 lots of different activities within that about storytelling and making sure the leadership has the right stories that they're telling that's going to get the most impact from the employees. So, this is where that part of my background, I have all these personalities, but that part of my background comes in where I have an MBA and a corporate background. And so that's where like that other part of my personality came in and said, how do you make this work in a company environment? How do you make it compelling? Leaders are going to go, what are you talking about? Wishing? Are you kidding me? And like, yeah, let me show you. Let me
Right.
show you how powerful it is. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
you give me a challenge, you watch out because I'll show you.
all right. I'll get you connected.
So we'll see. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to go
Yeah.
hang out in Colorado again. I haven't been back in over a year. So
Yeah, that'd be
I do have
awesome.
one of my wishes. I woke up this morning was I wish to be invited to speak at the Aspen Ideas Festival. So,
Mm.
but that's coming up in a few weeks. I think it's a little late for me this year, but we'll see. You never know. That could be my unexpected good news.
Well, I did something out of my comfort zone. I signed up to do a show next year. So I'll be in a fair, I'll have a table, but I jumped and taken a leap of faith that I am doing a presentation.
Yay. Good for you.
So yeah, so I'm going to be
Well, it's
doing a
like
presentation.
the saying is it's not courage if you're not afraid.
I'm not afraid. That's weird about it. Is I jumped, I took a jump of faith, and I'm like, you know what? I can do this. So I pushed myself into it, and so now I'm doing it. I'm excited. I feel comfortable doing this.
That's beautiful.
I feel comfortable. I feel like it's a good move for me.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and that's what matters. Like for me on all of this, it's like at first, when I had the cards, at first I just like, well, I've got these scientific principles. I could do a YouTube video and read from a script. And I'm like, I'm going to look like this reading a script. That's not going to be very compelling. So then I thought, well, let's put them on cards. And then I thought, no, let's bring people on and we'll pull cards and we'll make their wishes. Like let's make it as fun as possible.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm looking forward to finding out about your Oracle cards. So we'll have to share that with
Yeah.
the world as well.
Yep. I've got my pictures. I've just got to get them on cards and organize, because I think I could probably get like three different decks out of the pictures I have.
Beautiful.
So I just got to get those moving and get those going. But I think I got it. I think things
Good.
are going to start. I feel the momentum building and I feel me snowballing right now. So I'm rolling and things are getting more realistic for me and not just, yeah, well, I can do this or I can do that. Now it's like I'm on it.
You got the
This is
bumpers too.
happening. The bumpers are bumping me and I'm middled. I'm right down the middle. It's a strike coming on.
That's it.
Right. I'm straight ahead on my path and it's feeling really good. It's feeling really super
I'm
good.
so happy. I'm so happy for you.
So
Well,
well,
you deserve
thank you,
it.
thank you, thank you for being on the show again. And
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to have you back when you have your prize that you can show us, your beautiful
Wouldn't that be
plaque
fun?
that you'll get.
That would be a trip. That would be a trip.
Hey, it's going to be a beautiful trip. And I'm excited to see it.
Well, thank you.
I will see it. So, well, if anybody out there has a story you would like to share, email me lighttalk423 at gmail.com. Or if you have any questions for Brownell, we can definitely get you connected and have her read some wishes for you, help you through that, or a company that needs help, you think. Um, yeah, I will put her information down below, and so you can contact her and get this beautiful ball rolling. And we will talk with everybody next time. Thank you, everyone. Bye.